Okay, I'm going first. Good luck. Smiley face. Nothing on next page 4 through the states. Let's take a look at the board attacks. No attacks, trashing forager. Rebuild. Okay, that's pretty good. Village is not here. Draw. Okay, but draw doesn't matter. I look for non-terminals. Non-terminals are rebuild, conspirator, forager. Bomb as these things. And you do get a terminal plus buy here, but I'm afraid my first A division game looks very much like a rebuild game. Is there anything here that can beat rebuild? Horn's probably no good. The draw's too weak. Talisman doesn't support rebuild. Chancellor's pretty good for rebuild. Forager, there's no point. So yeah, I'm totally open. I'm totally opening Silver Chancellor. I'm gonna play like rebuild. This is so good. And I gotta turn my animations back on fast. Okay, so as first player, I have an advantage in rebuild games. A lot of times in rebuild games, the way I lose is, well, luck, obviously, but more so a failure of deck tracking. I need to make sure I am constantly hyper aware of everything that's in my deck, potentially knowing how many of each card I've seen in my draw. So I'll be tracking rebuilds and maybe certain types of green. Every time that number changes, I'm just gonna say it out loud to myself. Hopefully that'll help me not screw up. And hopefully my Chancellor will be lucky. I'm a lucky Chancellor. This is odd. Usually I'm the one that thinks a lot. There doesn't appear to be that much to think about on this board. Forager, Conspirator, there's just no way that's going to work. You can get 1, 2, 3, Conspirator. Silver. Really? You think Conspirator's better than Chancellor? Chancellor supports rebuild much more. Okay, interesting. We each get our first rebuild. I will pick up a second rebuild here, as does he. So right now I have an excessively mild cycling advantage along with my first player. This will be a silver. Wow, he just Chancellored himself. Lol. It's relevant because this is actually Chancellor. So he probably won't be able to buy anything this turn. He might have 3. No, he only has 1 silver, and he skipped his Conspirator. Okay, great. I decided this was going to be a silver. Yes, I still buy silver. Okay, this is fantastic. I love to see this. It's unfortunate I can't buy a duchy, but you can't have everything. This is probably one of the better possible draws. He gets a forager. I honestly don't see what that forager's going to do for you. That forager's not going to help you hit 5. And being thin, there's just no value in that. Okay, the amount that I cycle matters not. Wait, hold on. Hold on. I just want to know what these 5 cards are. My second rebuild, I skipped it. I skipped both of my silvers. Wait, I have 3 silvers. So this is a silver, 2 estates, and 2 coppers. Yeah, well, that's super bad. I just need to make sure I check for this. Estate seems like a super bad idea right now. It seems way premature. Pick up another silver. Okay, this hand's great. I have 1 duchy and 2 estates. That's his 3rd estate. So now he's probably going to get estate number 4, right? I mean, if I was him, I probably would. He did skip his other rebuild. That's good for me. I mean, with the Forager, that signals he doesn't really prioritize hitting 5 that much, which means he's more inclined to pick up the estate here. So I think it's a pretty clear call. He should get an estate. He gets a silver. Well, that's not clearly wrong, but I certainly wouldn't have done that. Okay, and it's a double 5 hand. So given that he didn't get an estate, I will only be problem. I have an estate in my hand, so I can't rebuild this into a duchy. So that's pretty bad. So this estate is I can't do anything about it, and that's really unfortunate. What I'd really like to do is rebuild the estate into duchy and buy a 3rd rebuild or something along those lines. And I can't do that. On the other hand, he hasn't bought any duchies. This will be duchy number 5 for me, right? What's that last card? I'm just going to check and see if it's a rebuild. It's not. Rebuild's the only card I care about. It was a copper! Yay, copper! He's at the top of a shuffle. I mean, what I've been considering is, you know, not getting a duchy so I could maybe rebuild it, but that's just silly. There's just no reason to do that. I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that I have an estate in my deck. Now here, I can name estate, and this is pretty fortunate that I see the province at the top of my shuffle. So now I need to make sure I'm tracking the victory point cards I see, because knowing exactly what to name and increasing my odds is important. So here we name estate, and that's pretty clear. Great. And now, do I get anything here? I've got 1 estate, so that makes me more inclined to get more estates. But on the other hand, I don't know that that necessarily benefits me. I'm going to see another rebuild, and it's kind of likely. 1, 2. I've got a rebuild and 3 duchies left in that deck. It's kind of likely I'll be able to go into province. I would like to be able to continue to try and get more provinces, because I think that's going to be a better path to victory. Also, the point isn't particularly relevant right now. The game is... I'm going to shuffle another time. So yeah, let's not get it. Okay, and actually this is okay. 3 duchies in this hand. Now $4, whatever. I'll just buy a silver. But like he's going to have problems actually scoring more points. His prospects of hitting 6 are pretty low. Yeah, he's in a really bad spot. He can only score like 3 more points before he goes into estates. Okay, I apparently failed to track something. I thought there were 3 duchies in these cards, and there are not. So let's just think briefly. I guess we split the duchies 4 each, which means that a lot of my commentary is straight up wrong. We must have split the duchies 4 each. Which means this estate, as long as I can rebuild that last duchy into province at some point, then the estate clinches a win for me, unless he like gets a fairgrounds or something. Does this actually mean anything relevant? I think I still just want to get a silver right now. Having only 1 estate in my deck is going to maximize my chances of rebuilding into a province. Here with 7, I think I'm going to get a fairgrounds. That seems to be... Yeah, that's a really good idea. It's another chance for me to get to a province. And it's also worth points, right? It's actually worth points. How many unique cards do I have in my deck? Copper, silver, fairgrounds, province, and then estate. Those are all staying in my deck forever. I have to think about whether I want to discard my deck. I do have 2 rebuilds and 15 cards. I think playing rebuild is important, so I don't want to discard the deck, but also these are a lot of my better cards. I mean, these are 3 of my silver equivalents. Is buying things now that I have this Fairgrounds more relevant than playing rebuild? And I think the answer is no. So that means I don't want to discard the deck. And that's a 2-point Fairgrounds. I have not seen my estate yet. That was a 2 provinces. So there's 1 province, 1 estate, and 1 duchy in here. Well, I think I need to name estate. It kind of depends on what happens on this turn, especially if he can just gain the province. Well, that changes things because I went first, so I could potentially lose on turns. So I probably just have to name province. Oh, wait, no. I can buy an estate. Well, okay, let's just not speculate. Let's just see what he does. What I don't want to see is my rebuild get skipped. And that's my wife coming home. That would severely decrease my chances of winning the game. Okay. He really doesn't want to see this. I think double estate is probably the right move for him. The points could matter. Okay. So I'm going to name province or estate here, obviously. If I mill a province, that's potentially very bad for me. I don't know what green cards he's seen, but I think I just want to name province. If you know, hitting an estate. This is one of those rebuild games, isn't it? Yup. Sad face. I think we just have to name province and hope we get really lucky. We don't. Now do I get an estate? Now I didn't skip my rebuild. So I'm likely to draw my rebuild. I'm also likely to draw my duchy with it. So I'm kind of getting the estate here could potentially still hurt. Gives me less chances to get that province, and it's going to be very difficult for me to win this game. There goes the dog. It's going to be very difficult for me to win this game without getting one of those provinces. So I think I want to get silver here. Okay, this is basically game over, right? I can... Uh-oh. Oh... How do I win? The way I win is by buying victory cards. I.e. a miracle. So I don't get a rebuild here. I get a Band of Misfits. Silver is probably just better. This was devastating. Do I rebuild the duchy into Fairgrounds? Go for uniques? How many uniques do I have? Let's say I keep the duchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What if I get a bomb? I have to keep the duchy in that case. But bomb is a unique card. Okay. Oh, that was a bunch of crap. Can't believe he bought a province. Less economy than me. Grumble, grumble. Okay. Well, that's really unfortunate. Like, that was the only way I could have lost, and I felt like I played better than him. But okay, whatever. This happens. DG says, welcome to A-League. Just like the B-League when it comes to those rebuild games. I'll type Kappa. Hi.